LA Times contributor, Kurt Bardella. Happy birthday. You get the first question, Kurt. There you go. Is this sort of misreading of the polls and the data the only hope that Democrats have right now?
I would say that the best hope that Democrats have is the trend that has started after Roe was overturned continues into this election, which is Democrats outperform the polls. Suburban women primarily move more towards the middle, towards Democrats and away from Republicans. And the economy and immigration and crime issues that polled well in the 2022 midterms end up being supplanted by abortion and women's rights.
Tranter, how bad of a birthday is it for our good friend when his only hope is that the polls are wrong?
Yeah, look, it's tough. The stats I'd like to throw you, 2016, 2020, the polls missed between 4 and 6 points. There are 7 battleground states. They're all within 3 points. So all that tells us is that either candidate can win. I do know this for sure. There will be polling error. There's too much discontinuation among the electorate. Pollsters are going to miss it. I just don't know which way. So, Kirk can hold out for a little bit of hope.
I know the way. I know the way, Scotty. I'll tell you right now, the way is that the polls are underestimating Kamala Harris and the surge of support that she is going to get on Election Day.
The surge of support. Okay, go ahead, Tranter.
I was going to say that's an interesting thing. You can bet on it. That's what Polymarket and all there is. All these people who are in the prediction markets are going to are taking the other way. And the reason why they're taking the other way is they're looking at the absentee voting that we see in places like Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, which aren't polls. Those are people actually returning ballots. And at least the early returns look good for Republicans in places like Nevada. We'll see how it develops in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan over the next week or so. But that's not polling data. That's just hard voting data that we're able to look at, and it looks good for the Republicans early.
All right. One thing, Bardella, that was not on the ballot in 2022 that is this time around is 2024. The Donald Trump we were watching and continue to watch in North Carolina is a much more disciplined, much more on message, closing message Donald Trump. It reminds me of his 2016 campaign. If disciplined Donald Trump continues, is that not a problem?
I honestly think that at this point, no matter how you feel about Donald Trump, you already know how you're voting. Donald Trump isn't going to magically turn into a disciplined candidate every speech that he has between now and Election Day. He is going to be who he has always been. I think voters know that, whether they like that about him or hate that about him. I don't think that anything, frankly, that Donald Trump does between now and Election Day is going to change how anyone's going to vote for him.
That may be true. For whatever it's worth, we've got Brian Enton coming up in the next block. He's on the road through the swing states on I-80, driving around. And he's finding a lot of undecided voters. So maybe they know what they think about Donald Trump. And that may be the question for you, Scott. Can people know what they think of Donald Trump but not have decided if they're going to vote for him?
It's certainly possible, but he's been running for president for almost 10 years now, one way or the other. So, his profile is almost certainly baked in. One thing I will give, a parting present for Kurt on his birthday, Kamala Harris is doing about 10 to 11 points better with white suburban women across all national polling. If that holds up in states like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, and maybe she does a little bit better, the polling error is in her favor there, those are some large segments of voters in those states that pollsters might miss. It might be a good night for her on election night.
I always like Scott Tranter.
Yeah, well, as do we all, for many reasons. A good man who just tells the truth. There's not a lot of them. Only 2 of them, in fact, on this program right now. We'll let the viewers decide who the other one is. But Bardella, this is where we get to the next point, which is there any thought, as it now looks like it is going to be certainly a race in Donald Trump's favor. We're told that there is going to be the end of the republic if Donald Trump is elected. That is the line from Democrats. Is there any discussion in the next 2 weeks of how to meaningfully change on the issues you brought up, on crime, on the economy, on the border? Have Kamala Harris really take different policy stances that might convince some Trump skeptical Republicans to switch?
I don't think we'll see a whole lot of new stuff. I think if anything, if they did that, it would appear desperate. It would appear like pandering. And I think that it would backfire massively if they tried that. I think more likely is what we've seen the last couple of days, which is her campaigning with people like Liz Cheney, her invoking what other Republicans who have served under Donald Trump have said, like former Joint Chairman, Chief of Staff, Mark Milley, saying he's a fascist. So it's not just Democrats that are using that type of vocabulary to warn about what a Trump presidency could look like. It's people who served for him and under him that are waving the warning signs.
Yeah, we've seen that not really work in the past, but hey, who knows? Who knows what the next 2 weeks bring? Gentlemen, thank you. Bardella, enjoy your birthday. Happy birthday, Scott. See you soon, my friend.